Have you ever caught yourself talking to yourself, then quickly looked around to make sure nobody heard? Most people assume it's a strange habit, something awkward, something only lonely people do. But psychology tells a completely different story. Talking to yourself may actually be one of the most useful mental tools you have. Think about the moments when life feels overwhelming. You have too many decisions, too many emotions, too many thoughts competing for your attention. Inside your mind, everything feels tangled. But the moment you say those thoughts out loud, something changes. The chaos begins to organize itself. Your emotions slow down, your thinking becomes clearer, and suddenly the answer doesn't seem so far away. This isn't a sign that something is wrong with you. It's often a sign that your brain is actively trying to understand itself. Some of the world's greatest athletes, inventors, writers, and leaders regularly speak to themselves while working. Not because they've lost control, because they're gaining it. Today we're exploring 7 rare psychological traits shared by people who aren't afraid to think out loud. And by the end of this video, you may never look at this habit the same way again. The first rare trait is exceptional self-awareness. Most people live on autopilot. They react without thinking. They get angry without asking why. They feel disappointed without understanding where the feeling came from. But people who talk to themselves pause. Instead of reacting, they become curious. Why did that bother me? What am I really afraid of? What can I learn from this? Those simple questions create something powerful: distance. Instead of being trapped inside every emotion, they begin observing it. And once you can observe your thoughts, you gain the power to change them. Psychologists have long believed that self-talk helps us reflect more deeply on our experiences. Rather than letting emotions control every decision, it allows us to examine them with greater honesty. Every quiet conversation becomes a mirror, not showing who you pretend to be, but revealing who you really are. And people who understand themselves usually make better decisions than people who simply react. That naturally leads to the second rare trait: a remarkable ability to solve problems. Have you ever noticed that explaining a problem out loud suddenly makes it feel easier? The problem hasn't changed, but your brain has. Speaking forces your thoughts into order. Instead of dozens of ideas fighting for attention, they begin forming a clear path forward. That's why so many successful people quietly talk themselves through difficult situations. Sometimes the fastest way to find the answer is simply hearing yourself think. The third rare trait is emotional control. Most people think emotions happen too fast to control, but psychology suggests something interesting. The words you use with yourself can change how you experience those emotions. Imagine you're about to give a presentation. Your heart is racing. Your hands feel cold. Instead of saying, "I'm going to fail," you quietly tell yourself, "You've handled difficult moments before." It's a small change, but it changes your role. Instead of becoming the frightened person, you become the coach. That little bit of psychological distance makes it easier to stay calm under pressure. People who naturally talk themselves through stressful situations often recover faster from setbacks. They don't ignore fear, they guide themselves through it. The fourth rare trait is creativity. Every creative idea begins as a conversation. What if I tried this? No, maybe there's a better way. People who think out loud allow different ideas to challenge one another. Instead of accepting the first answer, they keep exploring. One thought creates another. Another creates a completely unexpected connection. That's why many writers, artists, inventors, and entrepreneurs quietly speak while they work. They're not talking to fill the silence. They're giving new ideas room to grow. The fifth rare trait is extraordinary focus. Distractions are everywhere. Notifications, conversations, random thoughts. It's easy for the mind to wander, but people who quietly repeat instructions to themselves keep bringing their attention back to what matters. One step at a time. Stay focused. Finish this first. Those simple phrases act like mental anchors. Instead of chasing every distraction, they return to the task in front of them. Athletes use this technique before competition. Students use it during difficult exams. Professionals use it when solving complex problems. Their own voice becomes a guide that keeps their attention exactly where it needs to be. Talking to yourself doesn't divide your attention. When used well, it strengthens it. And that's why what seems like an unusual habit is often a hidden advantage. The people who appear calm, creative, and productive aren't always born that way. Many have simply learned how to become their own best coach. Instead of letting their thoughts control them, they've learned to guide their thoughts first. The sixth rare trait is independent thinking. We live in a world filled with opinions. Every day people tell us what to believe, what to buy, how to live, who to become. It's easy to let other voices become louder than your own. But people who regularly talk to themselves develop a different habit. Before asking the world for answers, they ask themselves, what do I really think? Does this make sense to me? Am I making this decision because I believe it or because everyone else does? That simple habit builds confidence, not the loud kind that needs attention, the quiet kind that stays steady even when others disagree. They don't reject advice. They simply filter it through their own judgment first. Over time, they become less dependent on approval and more confident in their own reasoning. The seventh and perhaps rarest trait is continuous personal growth. People who talk to themselves rarely stop learning from their experiences. After a difficult day, they reflect. What went well? What could I have done differently? What will I do better next time? Failure doesn't become proof that they're incapable. It becomes information. Success doesn't make them complacent. It becomes motivation to keep improving. Every private conversation becomes a small adjustment, a better decision, a healthier habit, a wiser response. These tiny improvements may seem invisible from day to day, but over months and years, they completely transform a person's life. That's the real power of self-talk. It's not about speaking for the sake of speaking. It's about creating a constant feedback loop that helps you become a little better every single day. So the next time you catch yourself talking out loud when no one is around, don't rush to feel embarrassed. That quiet voice may be doing something remarkable. It may be helping you understand yourself, solve difficult problems, stay calm under pressure, think more creatively, focus on what truly matters, trust your own judgment, and continue growing long after everyone else has stopped trying. Sometimes the strongest conversations you'll ever have are the ones no one else will ever hear. If you enjoyed this video, take a moment to subscribe for more psychology and self-improvement content designed to help you better understand your mind. And before you go, tell me in the comments, do you ever talk to yourself when you're alone? And after watching this video, do you see that habit differently now?